Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
What is up, guys? Welcome back right here to WagerTalk TV for another episode of Puck Time. We are looking forward to breaking down some playoff games for you. We have one new series to get going, a Canadian series. The Jets and the Oilers kick off their series tonight. We have, of course, Lawrence Pressman joining us for his Wednesday spot. But I'll throw it to Mr. Carmine Bianco, who, along with Lawrence Pressman, cashed a 5% winner last night. Congrats, Carm.
Thank you, Andrew. My God, that was I had just a ton of people who took part in that $2 Tuesday game. And my God, I am too old for this stuff, Andrew. You now know why you have a full head of hair and I don't, because I'm watching that Pittsburgh game and any hair that I had was like, ping, it just popped out of my head because I just couldn't take it anymore. But thankfully, the Pittsburgh did what I thought. Tristan Jarry played a fantastic game in goal, even though they snuck another one by the top right hand over his glove side again. But they got it done. And then after that, I just sat back and sweated the final game of the night, which was the Wild and the Golden Knights that the Prez had as a 5% play as well. So kudos to him, and they got it done. So let's bring him in. Perez, how you feeling this morning?
Wow. I mean, me and you too, dude. I don't know. People don't realize this. I'm wearing a wig right now. I went bald at around 1:30 last night. I've been up for 4 hours trying to find a wig place. I pulled it off 2 minutes before the show began. I called our friend Dan. I'm like, yo, Dan, send me some of your hair. Nobody would get that joke except Dan. Anyway, I won my 5% play last night on Vegas, and me and you both went through the same thing, bro. 2-1, freaking out, sweating like a Luno. And you know what, Carm? It's to our credit, man. There are a lot of handicappers on this planet that release a big play, get a bunch of sales, and then go to sleep or watch a movie. Not you and I, bro. Not only do we watch every game, but we do it together by text. You ruin most of the games for me. Last night, I literally turned my phone off in the third period because I didn't want it. So everybody understands. I watch the game through live streaming. Carm watches and Andrew on cable. So they know when their goals about 30 seconds before I do, and they're permanently texting me, and it drives me bonkers. With that said, holy crap. What the level of hockey that we have seen this playoffs it's unbelievable. I mean, the Florida Panthers first game, probably the best hockey game I've ever seen in my life. Rough, fast, exciting, drama-filled, back and forth. The Vegas, Minnesota first game, 0-0. Exciting, incredible goaltending, and on and on and on. I mean, I am like the Pittsburgh games. It's just the hockey is at such a high level right now. I'm floored. I think we're just watching just the most amazing hockey we've ever seen.
Well, I'm just sitting there on my couch, and I'm thinking to myself, Prez, how has there only been one goal in this series so far? We're like halfway through the game of game 2, and we've only seen one goal in the series so far entirely. So that was kind of cool. And then we finally saw a goal from Minnesota, and instantly Jonathan Marchessault answers the bell, and they score right away again. So it takes that long for either team to score, then one team scores, and right away we get an answer. Like you said, unbelievable game so far in the playoffs. You guys both had some great bounce back 5% picks. One on Pittsburgh, of course, one on Vegas. So those series are now both tied at 1. And let's jump into another series that's also tied at 1 here, guys. The Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals. I'll go to you first, Carmine, for your thoughts.
Yeah, listen, when I like the Bruins in this series. You know, I've liked the Bruins in this series, and I took them to win the series. So I'm really happy that they won game 2. They came to play in that game, and listen, it's been a series of the margins are slim. I honestly think when you're looking at this series, this is one of the series, and it's tough to say with especially with the Washington team that can score, that this really is a series where you should look to just plain unders. I get it that so far the totals are 1-1 in this, but if you look at the goal expectancies off those 2 games, they're much lower than the final score lines are, because we've seen a lot of ugly goals. We've seen like Ovechkin just getting the puck to the net and Oshie's deflecting it in. We've seen so many deflected shots in front of the goal, and those are tough on goalies. They just go in. You can't do anything about them. There's not a lot of high danger chances in this series that I've seen. And now now we're in Boston, and I just expect, fans back in the arenas as well too. Another typical Bruins game, play close to the vest, tight checking, and they've done a good job of containing, Ovechkin and that line, other than obviously giving up power plays. With that in mind, I'm going to keep this plain and simple. I really like the Bruins in this series, so I'm going to continue to take them until they give me a reason not to, and I'm going to look to the under.
All right, Carm's looking towards the under here. Look, I got the Bruins at plus 110 in series betting. So, Prez, last time we spoke with you, you and I were kind of going back and forth a little bit about some of these series, but I think there might have been some confusion because, of course, I do agree with you with the advantage to waiting to see a team go down 1, and I did do that. Caught the Bruins, got that plus 110 now to win this series. A lot of people out there, though, Prez, have been saying it's quite ridiculous that, the odds we were getting for the Bruins in game 2 after they fall and lose game 1. Now we see in game 3 minus like 170, 180 to win game number 3. What do you think about those odds, and where are you looking here? Because my instinct is actually a little bit different than Carmine. I actually think that we can look at the advanced stats, but I think if we look at some of these guys like Pasternak and even Marchand scoring that game winner throughout the lineup for both teams, I feel like we could have had more goals in this series so far. So I'm going to look for an in-game over spot during this game. If it starts off slow, I'm going to look for a jump in for an over 4.5, something like that. Where you going here, Prez?
Andrew, well, I'm not looking for any in-game wagers. They happen when they happen. But I do want to say a couple of things before I get into that. Firstly, we got a user in there, Faisal. Faisal, baby. I am South African too. So I just want to shout out because, I'm proud of my heritage, even though we were a bunch of racist bastages at one point and left the country because of it. But it's still so beautiful in Cape Town. If you've never been to Cape Town, it is the most beautiful city in the world. As far as this game goes, Andrew, dude, how do you not bet Washington here? I understand,
Exactly.
Boston is good. Boston, are they feeling good about their win? I don't know. They were about to go down 2-0 in the series with like 2 minutes to go in the game. And now they're plus 155 dog in a perfect zigzag, which I think is likely going to happen. Plus 155 tonight. Are the Bruins really that much better? I mean, you go down through the list. Washington it hasn't had much trouble beating Boston. I mean, they even beat Boston 8-1 one time this year. These two teams are evenly matched, both veteran hockey teams. You got to take the value on the dog here. Yeah. And you know what, Andrew, ultimately, if you don't get it in game 3, go right back in game 4 with the dog, and you're going to get one of them. So I like Washington. As for the total in this game, I don't really have an opinion, man. I just think at plus 155, it just begs you to take the Capitals. And, well,
I'm going to rebut the Prez's statement there. I'm not looking at what happened during the regular season between these two teams because the Bruins find a different level of defense in the playoffs. And Prez, you're a Leaf fan. You, of all people, should know the Leafs in 2 series against the Bruins. The Leafs came in a high-scoring team that could put the puck in the net. And what did the Bruins do? They were physical with them. They collapsed in front of the net. They kept goals out of the net. They play a different style in the playoffs. So 8-1 is an aberration. It's not going to happen. And by the way, Faisal, I know you're talking about things. He's actually West Philadelphia, born and raised, Lawrence.
Oh, well, let's sing that song. West Philadelphia, born and raised. What's the next line?
Andrew?
In a city. What, Dan? Yeah, Dan. In a playground where Dan spent most of his days. Carm, look, I get it. Boston,
Since Prez isn't going to announce this, guys, I'll do it for everybody to fill in the blanks. Dan is our producer right now, so that's who Prez is talking about. So you don't think Prez is like an imaginary person next to him. That's who he's referencing, our producer right now. But as far as those odds go, Prez, I have to agree 100%. Like I said, I mean, you look at this game, let's put it in perspective. The odds for the Boston Bruins right now in Game 3 are the exact same as it was for the Vegas Golden Knights to win Game 2. That's crazy. Like that's a huge difference, Vegas Golden Knights to bounce back versus seeing a Boston Bruins team go up one. That's putting that in perspective makes it sound a little bit crazier to me. And I was listening to Dave Sharapan two nights ago, Prez, and he's a guest on WagerTalk today, of course, with Prez and Teddy. And he was talking about that Game 2, the reason why the odds were set the way they are, one of the factors is because it just had that smell that it was going to be an 80-20 or a 90-10 for tickets. Every single person and their brother and their mom and their dog were betting on the Boston Bruins, right? And I think that the funny thing is a lot of people, they want to just right away write off a backup goaltender, right? And Craig Anderson. Let's put it this way. I'm a huge experience guy. I back and bet on experience. Craig Anderson's the only goalie out of all 3 of those guys that's actually been anywhere in the playoffs. He's the only one that actually has any experience. And they're putting him in the net for a reason, and they have faith in him. So for a pure value standpoint, and for, I to use what Prez says sometimes, in a relatively coin flip game, I can't argue the dog here. And as Kelly loves to say, bet numbers, not teams. And if we're betting numbers here, we're definitely, looking towards the dog. And I want to say, Prez, I disagree about the whole going in looking for a live betting spot. Obviously, you want to watch the game and see how it's playing out and if there are scoring chances. But absolutely, I'll go into some games and hope, like Colorado's game tonight. If I go into Colorado's game and the end of the first period is 1-0, and you offer me an over 4.5 between those two teams, I'll take it. That's a game plan for me.
Andrew, I get it. And I have no problem with that. I mean, for me, listen, everybody is different. You look at Marco, my partner at WagerTalk, and, he likes to handicap situational plays, sandwich plays, look-ahead games, etc.
Mm-hmm.
The way I attack hockey is the flow of the game. And I can't sit here and say I'm going to look for X, Y, Z. I need to see the flow of the game. And the Minnesota-Vegas game last night is a real perfect example of that. There are really a couple of ways to score in hockey. All of them are in attack mode, obviously. Most teams throughout the history of hockey, and even to this day, play a dump and chase style where they cross the red line, they dump the puck, their wingers have greater speed than the defensemen who have to turn their body around, and they chase the puck to the corners, then they put it into the slot and they score. Then you have teams like Vegas and the Leafs, Colorado, who like to carry the puck into the attack zone. So when you're looking and you're saying, okay, what is Minnesota doing to counteract Vegas's carrying the puck into the attack zone? They're swarming the puck carrier. They're swarming him fast, giving him no space, and putting the timing of Vegas behind by a millisecond. We watched that in the first period last night, and Vegas was completely and totally out of sync. So we have to think to ourselves, well, Vegas is going to make an adjustment at some point. Vegas's second goal came on a long shot. If you go back and you watch that goal, the 4 defensemen who were between the shooter and the goalie all turned and faced the boards. Then the goalie let a rebound out. The shooter came around, dumped it to a guy who came in blind because all 4 guys were facing the wrong direction. So you now know Vegas has changed their game plan to make an adjustment. So what does that suggest? The under. So I'm going to jump on the under in game because Vegas is adjusting and not playing their style. So I'm not going to look ahead to what I'm going to do in game. I'm going to watch the flow of the game and see the adjustments the coaches make, or I try to figure out my in-game bets. But the under last night in Vegas was easy money. I wish that was my play instead of Vegas because, man, that was a sweat.
Carm, he had a good transition for us. He had a pretty good transition as far as, a segue into next game with the Oilers and the Jets. Game 1 of their series. One of these teams is going to be a team to carry the puck in, and the other team will be a team to dump it in. Oilers minus 160 opened up at minus 145. Jets currently plus 135. What are your thoughts, Carm?
I can tell you right off the bat, I won't be betting this game. If I did have to bet the game, Andrew, I would take Edmonton. But here's the reason I'm going to watch game 1. It's the same reason I didn't bet game 1 of the Bruins, Washington, for the same reason. I want to see game 1. This is the problem I have with this series is Edmonton is the better team. They have the better talent. They had the better second half of the season where, I think they went over a 20-game stretch where they only lost like 4 of them or something, 4 or 5 games. And for some reason, having watched so much hockey and bet this sport for 30 plus years, yes, 30 plus years, because I am 52, this game just has the feel of a live dog in it. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm not going to give you any statistical numbers to back it. It has an eerily same feel as the Tampa Columbus series of 2 years back where Columbus beat them 4 straight. Am I saying Winnipeg is going to beat Edmonton 4 straight? Absolutely not. I want to see game 1. Edmonton really has to win game 1 and take control of the series from the onset. It's extremely important as far as that goes. But when you have a goalie like Winnipeg has, he can steal you a game. And they played 2 better games, although meaningless games, against the Leafs, against Vancouver, where they got a couple of 5-0 win and a 4-2 win over Toronto. But this is one of those series that, and I think the bookmakers have the series price. The Oilers were like minus 210, and they're down to about 165, 170 on the series price to win the series. So there has been some Winnipeg money coming in. I hope it's a Edmonton blowout tonight, but I'm going to watch game 1 and I won't have any action on it.
We look back to what happened last year. Edmonton enters the play-in games, or I guess we'll call it the play-in, and they lose to Chicago. So they definitely have some revenge on their mind after a lot better of a regular season, and they were able to jump Winnipeg. Winnipeg fell down, and Edmonton finishes second place in the league. I mentioned Nikolai Ehlers, a guy that has a lot of speed, not afraid to go to the dirty areas, guys, and even though he's known for his skill, he also, doesn't mind mixing it up a little bit. This guy was out for several weeks, over a month actually. And I said it early on and people started to catch on. That team was going to miss him, and they still don't have him tonight. Andrew Kopp is questionable. Pierre-Luc Dubois is questionable. So I think that tonight it actually, as much as they say that start off with underdogs and the skill will kind of progress throughout the series, I think it could be an opportunity to still bet against a banged up team at a good price. That's just my look here. I want to say that, guys, this Winnipeg team hasn't just been losing games down the stretch, though. Like, they've been losing them by margin. Like, it's been by several goals. It's been them scoring 1 or 2 goals. They haven't been able to get their act together. Connor McDavid, 7 goals, 22 points in 9 matchups against the Jets this year, guys. Oilers 7-2, 3.27 goals averaged against this team. And Hellebuck, 0.877 save percentage against the Oilers. And the Jets have allowed the 5th highest dangerous chance opportunities in 5-on-5 hockey in the entire league. So I think that, a lot of people love to talk about how, for my beloved Canadians, Carey Price keeps them in games. I think it's kind of hidden in the walls here that Hellebuck has kept this team in a lot of games here. So I've bought into the Oilers after doing a lot of reading and looking back at some of these matchups. I'd love to be able to tell you Hellebuck's going to stand on his head. They're going to get some production, but I don't see it. I think the Oilers will actually finally get some depth scoring with guys like Yamamoto and Puljujarvi and Nugent Hopkins. And if they do that, they will be successful. Those are my thoughts, guys. I'm buying into the Oilers here in the series. Are you, Prez?
Well, firstly, I like my Puljujarvi medium rare, just like my Kikuchi. Anyway, dude, these guys have faced each other 6 times in the playoffs. The first 5 times, Gretzky led the Oilers to 5 wins. Almost every one of them were sweeps. It ended up being 20 wins, 1 for Edmonton, 1 win for Winnipeg. Then in 1990, they played again the 6th time. Winnipeg went up 3-1, and Mark Messier led the Oilers past them on a 3-game comeback to win the Stanley Cup. For all the old guys, they are just dying to beat this Edmonton Oiler team. Is it going to happen? You know what? I don't think Edmonton is the better team here, Andrew. I think Edmonton as a team is actually kind of shit. They have no depth, especially in their last 4 defensemen. Their third line and fourth line couldn't play on a lot of teams in the league. I just think Edmonton has got the best player in the league and 2 of the top 5 players in the league, and Mike Smith, who's been standing on his head. I think Winnipeg is deeper than Edmonton. I think this is going to be a tighter series than most people think. As far as betting the game tonight, I'm with Carm here. I can't find a side. I got a feeling that Winnipeg might have put that 7-game losing streak behind them, and I think they're going to be a tough out for Edmonton. I think the series is going to be closer than most people think. I hope Edmonton wins, because as a Leaf fan, I'd rather play them with their 2 players than Winnipeg with all 4 solid lines. But I got nothing on this game sidewise.
Well, Prez, in years past, any player that's left the Leafs has actually done really well, and that's been Tyson Barrie
it's
for the
amazing.
Edmonton Oilers. I mean, he's been great since he left the Leafs. Darnell Nurse has been one of the, I'd say if there was a most improved defenseman award, he would have that. So I agree with you, though. Past that top D pairing, it's a little shaky, but those 2 guys are great, especially on the power play, especially at pushing the puck up the ice. So anyway, we have to move on, but I think that's going to be a great game tonight. And I get what you guys are saying, but you real quick, I don't want a long answer, but doesn't it matter to you guys about the injuries? I mean, for people out there looking to bet Edmonton, it should be intriguing if those guys aren't in there. Ehlers, Kopp, Dubois.
Prez?
Hello? Sorry,
Yes.
say that again,
Yeah, I think
Andrew.
he's asking you.
No.
Don't the injuries matter? Like,
out.
shouldn't that mean something to Oilers backers if those injuries are those guys aren't in, instead of staying away in game
dude,
1?
But Lowry is in, and you didn't mention him before when you talked about him not being in for that 7-game losing streak. I believe Lowry is the engine of that Winnipeg defense. But yeah, I mean, Luc Dubois, that's massive. I mean, you saw what he did to the Leafs last year. That it's I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not betting one or the other. So I'm gonna just watch. Me and my kid are watching Civil War tonight at 10:30. I'll have that game on my computer next to me.
Carm, Colorado. Let's jump into that game against St. Louis here. Let's move forward. I kind of dragged that on, but I think it's going to be an intriguing series. And of course, we can spend a little more time on that because it is game 1 of that series. Avalanche minus 350. Carm, it's the playoffs, and our dumper chase segments are still going this high with the Avalanche minus 350. The only real winners, I think, were the people that took the team total last game. I mean, you're a winner if you won your bet, but I think that you might as well not get involved with that juice. If this Avalanche team wins, they're going to score 4 goals. I'm looking over 5.5. This game could have had buckets of more goals. There were some great saves, some defensemen flying with their sticks, Grubauer making great saves, Binnington with some highlight reel saves. I'm looking over 5.5. It's my only look here, Carm.
Yeah, listen, these next couple of games that we're going to talk about have been decided in the third period. This is NHL hockey. I absolutely love it. Yeah, the score line probably doesn't indicate how close this game might have been between Colorado and St. Louis through a couple of periods, but all the big guys came out for Colorado. Everything from Landeskog, literally fighting 10 minutes into the game with Schenn off a bad hit, and that kind of pumped this team up. And then you have guys like obviously McKinnon, one of the best in the league, getting the goals, and then my God, like Makar. To watch this kid play is absolutely unbelievable, and he got that first goal in the first period that set them on their way to winning this game. If these guys continue to show up and the Blues don't have answers for them, this could be an extremely short series. Do I want to lay the price on Colorado that they are? I don't, and I don't like laying those minus 1.5s in the playoffs. Andrew, we talked about it. Some of these games going to overtime, and we're seeing the plus 1.5s. You talked about it on the last show, hitting. With that said, I think you can probably tie this game into the one that we're going to talk about next after this, Carolina, and you can take these two teams in a 2-team parlay, money line parlay, and you can basically get even money with those two teams. So that's probably how I would look to it. I think Colorado wins this game, and they head back to St. Louis, looking to put the Blues away.
It's a great call, and I think the Blues competed for a good part of that game, and then it just got out of hand. Fun fact: I know you're a McKinnon fan as well, Prez, with the skills he has and what he does out there. He had a higher expected goal percentage personally than the entire Blues team in Game 1.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Andrew, I'll tell you, man, was that Vegas Colorado game at the end of the year big. I mean, we got Vegas in a dogfight with a team that has dominated them all year, while Colorado has really the chance to just roll over this Blues team and wait in a hot tub in my backyard for one of those two other teams to play them. I love your over, Andrew. People don't realize, and it's an amazing thing, that first impression concept. You see, you get a mindset where you're like, an NFL team on week 1 goes out and puts up 50 points, and then you end up betting them to the over for the next 6 weeks just because of that one game. St. Louis Blues, known as a defensive juggernaut over the last 4 or 5 years, bottom 10 in defense this year in hockey. Bottom 10. This is not the St. Louis Blues of old. If you watch that Colorado game, Andrew, 96, 2-point blank misses. The first one was the worst miss I think I've ever seen, where he shot it across the crease. I like your over, Andrew. I'm with you there. I'm not going to touch the side. I'm not going to lay that type of money. But I think we're going to see a high scoring game. I just St. Louis has to score at least a couple for this game to go over. So, I mean, guys, if you want to take Colorado in regulation and the over, or Colorado team total over, but that's what I like. I like the over with you there, Andrew.
All right, let's get some goals there, Prez. Carm, you mentioned your parlay, the 2-teamer with these two favorites on the board, the Avalanche and the Hurricanes. Let's jump into that game real quick here and get your thoughts. Obviously, you want that 2-teamer. Any other thoughts as far as props or totals or anything like that?
No, Are we talking about this Preds game now? We're talking about the
Yes.
Preds game now, I assume. Yes, okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure we had transitioned to that and it wasn't a rebuttal to Prez on the Colorado St. Louis game. He's had a lot to say today. I think he believes he's getting paid by the word today. He's not. It's just a guest appearance. With
How
that
do you
said,
know I'm not?
As far as Carolina and Nashville goes, it's the same feeling that this game was decided in the third period. And I talked about it on the previous show. You've got to play against teams like Colorado, teams like Carolina. You've got to play a complete 60-minute game against them. You can't take a shift off because that's where they burn you. Nashville played well for 2 periods, but Carolina absolutely amped it up in that third period. And you just saw this team, tenacious forechecking. They were just unbelievable in that third period, scored 3 goals, win the game 5-2. I talked about it prior to game 1, 4-0 this year against Nashville at home. Those 2 games at the end of the year I thought were absolutely meaningless. They were 6-0 against Nashville prior to that. At home, 15-5 goal differential. They win this game 5-2. They kept their opportunities to a minimum here. This team, if they win by any other name, this team, and I'm going to say that they get disrespected, not as much as it might sound, but this team, if they win by any other name, if they had Vegas as a name, if they had Colorado as a name, they would be looked at differently. It's something about it's Carolina. You just don't put them in the upper echelon of teams, but this team is scary good and has a very good chance at winning the cup. They're going to face, they get past the series, they're likely going to face Tampa Bay, and that is going to be a phenomenal series. For me, it's Carolina. Again, the vig is high in this game, but you can tie it in with Colorado, and you're literally going to get even money on a 2-team parlay.
Carmine, I don't look at them differently. I mean, I have them to win the cup. I have them minus 1.5 games in the series. I have them to win the series. So I'm with you. I don't think they're just some random team. I like them. I think they're a quality team, and I love that 2-team parlay you gave out there. I'll say this real quick. I like the under 5. And I know there's some disagreement with a lot of people on this, but I think that there were a lot of late goals in that game. And I think the only chance Nashville has to win this series or win a game at all is going to be just shutting the door. You know, they're going to realize like they got exploited. They have to put a brick wall up on that blue line and play good defensively. But I think if you like the over, or even if you like this Carolina team, you can take that 2-team parlay, but take the puck line. If they win, they're going to win marginally. And if you like the over in general, take the puck line because it's only going to be Carolina doing the large bulk of the scoring. Or if you like the over, take a team total for Carolina because the only way Nashville wins is if they limit Carolina to 2 goals. Any disagreement there, Prez?
Yeah, a lot of disagreement, Andrew. I don't see the under
I
as
knew
the
it. I
play
knew
at
you
all
had it.
in this game. I mean, I don't see the under.
I knew when I asked you any disagreement.
Okay, we got it.
record,
We got your point. We knew. You knew. You're a genius. We got your point. Way to go. Namaste. Now, anyway, at first, I want to agree with you about Carolina. They are awesome, and they are probably the best value bet to win the cup on the board. I think they are a scary, scary hockey team. They are well balanced. They are heavy on the puck, fast off the puck, and they can score, play defense, and have great goaltending. And Rob Brindamore has turned out to be one hell of a coach. With that said, I think Nashville could score. I don't think under 5.5 is a good bet here. I actually prefer the over, and I like Carolina in regulation as well. I think this Carolina team is going to win this game tonight. I think this Carolina team is going to win this series 4-1 at worst. So I think you're getting a pretty decent price. I love the Canes right now all around. And, you know, I would not be surprised if there was a sweep.
I'm going to throw it back to you, Prez, for your power play and your best bet on the show and what you have up for grabs at WagerTalk.com.
Thanks, dude. I'm rolling again. Won my last 2 days. Just hockey has been so outstanding this year. I've got 3 plays up for tonight's card. As far as my best bet goes, I like over the total in the Vancouver Canucks game. Listen, I know that game is not a playoff game, but hey, value is value. And this is actually finally the last game of the season for these two guys. And I don't mean to be long-winded, but I've been telling everybody for the last month, blocked shots is the most important thing in all of hockey, period. Last night, Minnesota blocked close to 40 shots. And what was the score? 2-1. Well, nobody blocks shots in meaningless games, especially the last game of the season. No block shots means lots of goals. Take over the total of 6 in the Vancouver-Calgary game.
I love it, Prez. I mean, I was just completely ignoring those games. You're finding a winner for us in the last game of the regular season. I love it. I love it. I'll be betting that and tailing you on that play. Carmine, where are you going for your power play tonight?
Yeah, that game goes at 3:30 this Eastern time, guys. If you're watching this a little later, 3:30 his game. The Boston game goes at 6:30 Eastern time as well too. So some early starts because they got 4 games, and obviously with TV they want to try and get you as much action as you possibly can. 2 plays up in afternoon soccer and 2 plays up in NHL tonight that I really like. 7-2 start to the NHL playoffs. So we're kind of rolling along. If you picked up that $2 Tuesday play, there is a special in there that expires. There's a 48-hour coupon to get the rest of the NHL playoffs, a special there. So might want to pick that up. My show best bet is going to be the 2-team parlay that I've talked about with the last couple of games, Colorado and Carolina. You can put them both in a 2-team parlay and you get plus 101 is the odds. Check your books because as those teams takes action, that parlay odds will get a little worse. But you're basically even money with that one. Yesterday's show best bet got there in a game with not a lot of goals. We took the over 1.5 in the Tampa Bay game in the first period, and that one got there. And as you saw, there weren't a lot of goals in that game. So we're just going to continue on. Andrew, listen, for you guys out there who don't know, Andrew's got a 5% play up in MLB tonight. You have to pick up this play. The guy is absolutely killing MLB. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're 6-0 with 5% MLB plays this year.
Yes, Carm, thank you. Looking to make it 7 straight 5% MLB plays tonight to start the season off. I appreciate it, Carm. It's 40-17 is the run right now in the MLB. 6-0 on 5% plays to start the year off, and I have one up tonight. It is a side play, and looking forward to. You can grab that play at my capper page, wt.buzz/am. So grab that, guys, and let's cash once again another ticket in the MLB. My best bet's going to be that Colorado and St. Louis over 5.5. I think that we saw so many opportunities, so many unbelievable saves from either block shots, like Prez said, or a goaltender. This game, too, is definitely going to see a lot more goals, I think. So that's my best bet. Colorado, St. Louis over 5.5. Carmine has that great parlay with the Hurricanes there and the Avalanche. At a great price of plus 100, and the Prez with the Canucks and Flames over 6. And of course, I'm on the Blues and Avalanche over 5.5. I want to congratulate Prez and Carm again for cashing their 5% tickets last night, and hopefully I can cash one tonight myself in the MLB. Best of luck tonight, guys. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Have you ever wanted to create your own WagerTalk Dream Team? Well, you can using our Pick Your Team program at WagerTalk.com. Marco D'Angelo, Dave Koken, Gianni the Greek, Ralph Michaels, Teddy Covers, Hakeem Profit, Tony Finn, Rob Bino, and Brian Leonard. The combinations are endless. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to WagerTalk.com, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster.